Donald Trump has been talking a lot about voter fraud, generally trying to imply that it's a massive problem that he has a problem with. But he decided to mix it up a little bit yesterday, encouraging his fans to break the law and commit voter fraud.
They'll vote and they're going to have to go and check their vote by going to the poll and voting that way, because if it tabulates, then they won't be able to do that. So let them send it in and let them go vote. And if their system's as good as they say it is, then obviously they won't be able to vote. If it isn't tabulated, they'll be able to vote. So that's the way it is. And that's what they should do.
Okay, so that was a relatively short clip, especially for Donald Trump. So let's be very clear about what he said there. Send in your mail-in vote, then go and try to vote. And if their system's as good as they imply it is, then you won't be able to. If it's not, then you will be able to vote a second time. I want to be very clear about that because some of his representatives in the near future are going to be saying that that's not what he said. But anyway, we're going to have Bill Barr's opinion on whether this constitutes a crime. Adrian, though, I wanted you to step in. What do you think about this? Is it responsible for the president of a democracy to be encouraging his fans to try to vote illegally?
Well, I'm not Bill Barr. I am not Attorney General. I am an attorney, however, and so I'd hate to, maybe say anything that was against the Attorney General and whatever his conclusion will be. But this is a felony under North Carolina law. The fact is, you cannot vote more than once. It is very problematic, and it really blows me away how much Trump tries to undermine mail-in voting. And then now trying to get people to vote more than once when there's no clear evidence out there that suggests that either party gains any kind of advantage by mail-in voting. Of course, that is if you're not shutting down the postal service. But for the most part, it's crazy because he's out here really unleashing people to commit felonies and just shoulder shrugging it off in hopes that it will give him an advantage.
Exactly, and look, like you say, it's very responsible of you to note there is no clear evidence one way or the other who tends to benefit in any particular state, let alone nationally, with greater mail-in voting. Although, it's not impossible to imagine that it could be the Republicans. I mean, it certainly seems like it would benefit older voters, potentially more than younger voters. Older voters tend to be more conservative. Again, that is not clear from the evidence. It's just speculation, but yeah. His campaign to get people to question whether mail-in voting is legit or not seems less focused on a short-term concern that mail-in voting will actually lean against him, and more on just providing sort of a foundation for him to claim that if he loses, it was fraudulent. That would be my assumption. But you're right, it is a crime. And let's be very clear, it is not just a crime to vote twice in North Carolina. Turns out doing what Donald Trump did right there, that itself is a crime too. And so I will refer you, although I know I don't need to because everyone has it memorized, to North Carolina election law, section 163-175, subsection 7. For any person with intent to commit a fraud to register or vote at more than one precinct or more than one time, or to induce another to do so in the same primary election or to vote illegally at any primary or election, is a crime. He is doing that inducing. Now, will he face any consequences? Obviously not, because he just gets as many free crimes as he wants. But it is clearly a crime to induce someone to break North Carolina election law. Let's just be clear about that.
Absolutely, yep, and I love it because he can just do all the criming that he wants. That's something that's clearly shown us that he can do crime. Hey, all it is signaling to people that they can get away with whatever they want to get away with too, and they have no respect for our justice system or department. So that's awesome.
Exactly, and let's be clear about more things. So one, how long does it take if you hear what Donald Trump said to figure out that it's crime? Well, it took me like 8 seconds on Google. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.